So we're back on the, back here, back on the motor bell end, or end bell. And I made some hold down clamps. You can see them there. So I just made 4 of those. Not for this job, for another job which I'm holding on a faceplate, which needs small hold down clamps. So I made those and I thought they're coming useful for this. And I know they're clamping onto the welds there, you can see, but fingers crossed they should hold. We're going to find out in a minute. Anyway, so this is the old motor's end bell, which is a little bit broken. And we're going to measure the bore on that, just with calipers. And for a quick reference, we're talking 1 inch 562. And this one is, again, just for a quick reference, approximately 1 inch 309. So this has got to be bored out to that. Secondly, the bolt holes for the end cap are 2175. And these are 2147. But before I start boring it, I need to make sure that this bore is sort of centralised. It looks it. Right, there we go. Try and focus in on that. So we've got a bit of preload on there now. If I lift the gauge up, so it goes away. Now I need to try and spin the chuck without hitting the camera and see what we've got. Oh man, that's 4 thou, isn't it? So what we've got there, we've got -2 and +3. So that's 5 increments, and they're half thou increments, so that's 2.5 thou run out. I think that's pretty good, to be fair. 2.5 thou run out. Yeah. First things first, we're going to get a nice, good measurement. So I have a 1 inch gauge block and a 1 to 2 micrometer. Let's see how close she is. Never used this one before. It's a more and right. It's a more and right. It looks to be about 1 thou off, maybe half a thou off. So, I mean, that could be just some dirt on the faces. Lack of use. Looks like it's hardly ever been used. This thing looks almost brand new. Could be a lack of use. There could be some dirt on the gauge block. I'm just going to give that a bit of a rub. And we'll try that again. There we go. And that is perfect. Okay. So we will do that. What did we say this one was? 1.5 something. 1.3 something. 1.3 something. I'll wind it out too far, so it's 1.3 something. 1 3 1 inch 313 thousandths. 1 inch 313. Pretty good. That's 1 inch 560 63. 1 inch 563, 1 inch 313 to 563. Let me get a calculator before I start guessing. So that's 1.563 minus 1.313 equals 250 thousandths to come out exactly. I wasn't even doing any calculations, that was pretty easy, wasn't it? Like, yeah, I was just shouting 250 thousandths, but so I've got that to take out of it. And this has to be accurate. So I'm just going to measure that one more time. Making sure there's no dirt in it. Oh man, it's bad. It is bad. So this time I've cleaned the bore out, there's no grease inside it and gravy granules basically. Right, here we go. You don't even see what I'm doing here. One inch 562. Okay, 1 inch 562. I can run it at that angle that it's at now. Not a problem. Just need to make sure it's on centre height. That was exciting. I managed to flick a pair of pliers across the kitchen. So that is slightly below centre height, and that's funny. Look for 4 1/4 on this one, on the bed. So we'll raise that up just a little bit, lock it in, check it again. And that really is just like slightly. It's probably going to be over now. I didn't realise my handle was coming loose. That's bang on now, absolutely bang on. You couldn't get any closer than that. It might be slightly under, but negligible. A negligible amount. Now this is cast iron. I don't really want cast iron on my ways, so I'll try and catch as much as I can in some cardboard. If I can clear me that should catch a lot of it. Not all of it, but that should catch a lot of it. I'll have the lathe running, get some oil into the bearings, and away we go. Oil as the bearings. Now this could fly off straight away. So I'm going to try and not be in its line of fire. or how could break loose. Put it in gear, obviously. You all clear? No, let's take the tool out. So it's catching the cardboard. That hole in the centre looks very concentric. Very concentric. The casting is all over the shop, but that is bolted against a engineered backplate, which it's bolted to, so it looks good. I can't complain at that. So let's come in here and touch off and zero out. That's definitely a touch off. We'll zero the lathe out. And so we're going to go around twice. I'm just going to bring some more light in on the subject. Might be a bit easier to see now. And we'll try and take a 10th thou cut, 5 thou per side. And I don't know whether to power feed it through. No, we'll try it by hand for a start. If it's starting to look really good, then I'll think about power feeding it. Right, can it take a 5 thou cut? So now I'm feeding it back out on the power feeder under the finest feed I've got. We'll see what kind of surface finish we get as it protrudes out. This is 80 times 5. That was 2.5 thousandths per revolution. 2.5 thou per rev that was. Let's see what we got then. Quick blast of air. And yeah, I'm in the kitchen, I'm making a lot of noise, but I don't want a compressor being in here. Now, that would just be catastrophic, and it still put some dirt back in the bore. Try and get it all out. So yeah, it's not the greatest of finishes. I might try different. I think I'm going to try a different insert on it now. Right, I'm not going to get a reading off of that, are we? And my dinner's nearly ready. I wanted to try and do this in 45 minutes, but you know how it goes. We're at 5:31, and we were aiming for 5:63, I think. 5:31, and we're aiming for 5:62, was it? 5:62. 34. I really need to put a different insert in, so I'm not going to use that insert anymore because that is not giving me a very good finish on the cast iron. So I'm going to try my little boring bar. If it's set up, yes it is. Trying a little boring bar. It should be set up deep enough to go all the way in. Let's check it for centre height. And bob on. Absolutely bob on. Got to try a different speed as well. Just want to make sure this is going to go all the way through. We're managing to keep all the cast iron dust off the ways at the moment. Just want to make sure this is coming all the way through. I'm not going to touch anything. Yep, we've got clearance. Right, bring that back out. We'll touch off, and then we'll do one more cut at that. At probably not. We've got 30 thou to go. Probably do it 15 thou in this one. It's alright. Yep, it's alright. That was a good touch. So we've got 34 thou to go. I'm taking 10 thou. I'm not power feeding it, although I might actually. Get it in close, and this is a really fine power feed. Singing a little bit, like for the back end. Certainly kicking the dust out better. Just reverse the feeds. I thought best stop the engine. And we'll fine feed it back out as a skim cut. That should be 20 thou it's took out. Ultra silent air blower, working out pretty good. Well, you can see the weld mark on there, can't you? Oh, the semi-crack mark. If you undo it, it undoes. If you tighten up, it tightens, boy. Try that again. That didn't quite go to plan. That was bad. So what we've got now, my dinner's ready, so I'm rushing. I don't want to rush, I want to take my time, make sure I get the measurements absolutely bang on. And now we've got 549, 1 inch 549. So we have got 13 thousandths to come out, 13 thousandths to come out. And what did I have before? Oh, I wish I'd wrote it down. I had 28. So I tried to take 20 thou out. I took 21 thou out. So 21 and a half thou. So with that, and what's the finish like? Perfectly acceptable. Absolutely perfectly acceptable. It's almost a mirror finish. Yep, we'll do that again. So I want to take out 13 thousandths, so if I dial in 12 thousandths, that should be bang on. That's the theory anyway, so I'm going to dial in 12 thousandths. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 thousandths. That should be it. Let's reverse the feed. Okay, watch my finger. Bring her in. Feed her in. feed off, wind her out of the way. Slap up. Some more dust will fall in. Blow it out. Let's get a measurement. That should be bang on. Who knows? Let's find out. What's your fingers on that? Cut a lad. Dun dun dun. Here we go. Moment of truth. Going up. Has he got it right? This is a nice little lathe. It usually gets it perfect. Oh, it's 2 thou to go, ain't they? 2 thou to go. Shall I take a skim cut? I'm going to take 1 thou off. I should have dialed in the 13. Sean Everybody's going, you should have dialed in the 13. Oh, God, way too far now. That should be it then. Right, let's do that again. Reverse the lathe. We'll reverse the feed on the lathe. Bring her in close. Whack the feed on. We might speed it up for the return pass. I don't think I'm doing a return pass. So back to the same setting. Fingers crossed, that should be it. Please, 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 please. Where did I put my telescoping gauge? There it is. Oh, I hope I haven't overboard it. I really hope I haven't overboard it now. Really? Ooh. Says it hasn't took anything out. Come on. Oh man. I've got to measure that again. It might be an oval ball. Measure it again in a different position. Might have been a bit of dirt in there. Just clean it off. Get fingers in there. Might have a bit of dirt on the end of it or something. Try again. One more time. That was 10, that was less than what I measured before. Well, it definitely took some out. That's showing 11 now. 63. 61. I'm looking for 62. I'll skim past it at that. We'll skim past it at that. That's 2 measurements almost identical. We'll just skim it at that. Oh man, okie dokie. Right, run it a bit faster. Who knows? Maybe. I'm getting excited. My dinner's ready. I'm hungry, my stomach's grumbling, but I want this done. The suspense is too much for me. Am I going to get it right or not? Okay, here we go. Here we go. That was just a skim pass at the same setting, but at higher speeds. It hasn't took anything out. It's just burnished the surface. It just burnished the surface. It's made a nice burnish on the surface, to be fair. I mean, the surface finish is fantastic. I'm going to have to take a thou out of it. I'm going to have to take an extra thou out of it because that's just not good enough. So, I'll take an extra thou out of it. There we go. I'll move the leg the other way. Get some kind of speed up that's going to start it good. Please. Yeah, I've got a good surface finish. Very, very, very good, very good. Very good. Now I've got to clean the lathe because there's cast iron everywhere. Everywhere. Oh, the video cut out. I think it's full one memory card up. It's going on to the next one now. So I've got yeah, 61.5, 62. I'm going to leave it slightly undersized because I guess the other one will be, it's about half a thou, about 5/10 under the other one, so that's good for me. That's good. We'll leave it there. I'll get the bearing and try and fit it tomorrow. But that's enough for tonight. I'm having my dinner now. I'm quite happy with that. That looks good. So that's about 5/10 under the other hole, and the bearing goes into the other hole. Not a problem. It's a bit side to sidey, but it's okay. And now let's see. Oh, it's catching. Yeah, it's not quite. Just not quite going. Not quite. So I will attempt to take another 5/10 thousandths out of that. Get some of the crud off of the front there. So this is going to be a moment of truth time. This is the end cap, blue one, off of the blue end bell. Might have to use it. This is the end cap of the green, grey one, whatever. The blue one had a spring washer in it, and The green one had 2 fibre spacing washers in it. Whatever they're for. I'm going to use them. So I need to get that onto that for a start. I want to line the plate up, although it's completely and utterly unreadable. I want to line the plate up so it is basically readable. So I'll bring it into position. About there somewhere, I think. Yep. I'm trying to tap that in with a copper hammer. Number 2 copper hammer. I'll try and give it some leather. Load it together. Yeah, that's going together now. Alright, so that's the front end bell fitted. Nice. That sounds pretty solid. Next, I believe I'm going to put the shaft into the motor. I've packed the bearings, both of them with fresh grease, and hopefully somewhere close. Well, in fact, actually, that's the wrong way. So we'll do all that again. So, she's on again. And this time I can fit the rotor in. So I'll try that again. Let's try that again. So what I'm doing is I'm catching the rotor with my other hand. And then we'll slip it in. And this time, she's all the way in. That is promising. So at the moment it turns, obviously. But this is when it all went wrong with the old casing. Now I think I'm going to put the weld marks. Welding in there. Put the weld marks to where the wiring is, or around about where the wiring is, just so people see it every time they're wiring it. And now I've got to get it past this bearing. Clearly that shaft needs to go in further. Clearly what we're looking for is, if we've got any more, yeah we have, we've got loads more, yeah, okay. It's still got a bit more to come through, I think. So I've just pulled the shaft through, I don't know, about 100 thou. Well, that's promising, but the problem is I still need the shaft to go in. There we go, it's going in way further. So that's all the way in now, definitely all the way in. So if I put one shim on that, what's it looking like? That is flush with one shim. So if I put 2 shims in it, it's going to be pushing it in too much, I think. I'll see, I'm going to put it on, tighten it up, and see if it pushes it any further and have a look at it. Think of where I'm going. And this end plate, it ain't going to fit. So, it's just slightly wrong. Not a lot, but slightly. Now considering on this motor, the shaft was actually running in the back plate, even with that wavy washer on. It won't be on this one because this is perfectly flush. But it's definitely need this end plate on it, which is slightly boned, obviously from being pushed by the doofler, the shaft. They can't be daft enough to have put two different size screws in, can they? No, can't. So I'll tighten that down and tighten it all together. And we'll see if I can get any more on it and see if there's any end play on it. Because the last thing I want is any end float. So that's obviously just pushed those two washers inside, but at the same time it's brought this off a little bit. These threads are a bit null, obviously. Seems to be next down, and it might turn it a bit further. Yep. Right. So at this point with the other end bell, the motor would stop turning. Loosen this up a bit, I think it's trying to push against this end plate now. So a bit more on it. Yeah, we're starting to get some grabbage now. Gone tight again. So it's gone tight again. Need to look at it in the light. Oh yeah, that's tight. Okay. That is all the way down. So I can see that they've come tight now. So I'll give it a good nip. Might as well go opposites. Making sure this one's coming down. Yeah, that's a good nip. Yeah, the glove split. That's a good nip. And the last one. Right, does it still turn? Yes, it does. Awesome. There we go. So now I can think about painting it. Stripping it down, cleaning it out properly, all the way through. Let's look at the bearing at the end, see what kind of stuff we've got to do there. Is that plate tight? No, it isn't. Not really. So we've still probably got a bit of play there. Take one shim out, I think, and we'll be right. I think there's a gap there around about the right amount. So that shim is perfectly flush with the top. Yeah, I could do with a small shim. I'm going to do it with that. It's not quite calming. Let's see if this is the thinner shim of the two. Not a lot for a foul, but let's see if that was the thinner shim. It's flush. Minus 4 thou, 5 thou. So I'm going to have to do something to shim in the back end of it. But for the time being, let's just put that on loosely like that and see if the shaft is looser. There's one thing for sure, that will be holding the bearing recessed, so it won't be touching the end cap. This end cap's a bit deformed, I'll have to do something about that. So that will be the hammer on the anvil at the back of the vise. Kind of technique to try and flatten it out a bit. So that's in there. And how free is that? Well, there's quite a lot of end float. Got to take that end float out, definitely. A lot of end float. Lots of end float. So I might be able to get that other one in now. This might end up perfect. Might. But the basic gist of the thing is, no, where's the end float at? Why is that end floating so much? You have to understand that there is no gap there. Well, let's put the other shim in and tighten it down really tight and see if that stops it from end floating. I might just push it a little bit, put it down that way. I'm hoping to have a go with running it in a second. Doesn't know what's going to happen now, but you never know. Alright, let's tighten all the way down. Yeah, it's tightened all the way down. Now let's see what kind of end play we've got. Yeah, there's still a bit of end play, so we can't have that. So I need some more shims making. But I think I can run it at that with just that minor amount. 10th ounce, like that. 0.2 of a mil. Yeah. Less than a millimetre, but that motor is spinning nicely. Sweet. This is going to work. I will have power feed on the Bridgeport then. So that's that one, that will be sorted. Just a shim to make for the back of it, or getting a spring washer for it. Get one of those. I might just get one of those. Well, I might go into the garage and find that there's one falling out of this somewhere, and that'll do it. But for sure, when it was in that one, there'd have been more end play in that. So that is a hell of a lot better. That repair is a hell of a lot better than it was. But saying that, the other end bell might have had less dish. You know, I don't know. It was broken, I couldn't tell. But that is working, that's successful. The next thing I'm going to have to go at is the wires. Now they are coloured. I don't know what the colours mean. So it looks like we've got a black. I might want to get a less greasy rag for this. This is together, I can take this off now. By the way, I've just engine degreased it, so you always get shininess on it afterwards. So we've got black, green and red. I might have to investigate what that means, if that's any significance to three-phase motors. It might well be. But, you know, and then the other three are tied together, so that's obvious it was wired for high voltage. So I'm just going to split those out and link them together in a daisy chain. And then I'll have three wires coming out which are in pairs, which should be fine. And I'll link me 220 onto that. So basically it's just untwisting all those three, finding its pair, twisting them together. If that was the pair, it might not have been. I'll figure out the pairs in a bit, and then twisting that pair together, and then twisting that pair together. So at the moment I've got black to green, green to black, so that's definitely going to be wrong. It might not be. And then green to red. So that'll be your three-phase wiring for a low voltage setup, and then you just bring your three phases in and touch those three and it'll work now in low voltage, which is what I want. Good. So now I can use the Clarkson inverter to run the Clarkson when I'm not using the Bridgeport, because you can't grind at the same time as milling. I might be able to, I don't know. But anyway, I'll be able to switch between the two because they're both approximately the same powered motors, and that'll be fine. done. Spinny, spinny. I don't know if you can see the fan spinning in there, probably. Maybe. Can't see both at the same time. But that's done. So the next thing is I ordered the new drive motor for the drive inverter for the Bridgeport, because I bought a too powerful inverter for it. I've got a 3 horsepower for a 1 horsepower motor, so I've ordered a 2 horsepower one. It's still too powerful, but it should be a dual voltage motor, so that's alright. It is a dual voltage motor. We've just rewired it. So I went ahead and searched on eBay until I found another motor which was 2.2 kilowatts. Now this one sounds bad. I think the bearings need replacing in this one, so this is my next project. Got some of the colours up.